Hi there, I'm an old guy and I do maths. Now today what we're going to look at is we're going to look at rearranging linear equations so that they turn out to be in this form, y equals mx plus c, which is the form in which we can work with them. So I've got a list of equations here, and this is a fairly decent cross-section of the sort of problems that you might confront. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through each one and rearrange it so that it looks like that. Okay, let's get going. First equation, and it's on the yellow paper, so clearly I mean business. We're doing this live. So what do we need to do? We need to get y on its own. So we're going to just start moving a few things around. And it's a choice as to what you move first. We could move the 8x, we could move the negative 20. What we're going to do is we're going to move the negative 20, and it comes over to this side of the equal sign, and it becomes positive because what we've done is we've added 20 to each side. The next move is we're going to move the 8x, and we already have this, so we're going to subtract 8x from this side and subtract 8x from this side, and we get 20 minus 8x. Now, we have 5y, so we're close, but not really there. Okay. So what do we need to do to get rid of this 5y? Well, we're going to divide each side by 5. And 5 divided by 5 is 1, so that is y. 20 divided by 5 is 4. And negative 8 divided by 5 is negative 8 over 5. Negative 8 divided by 5. We can just leave it like that. And if we want to rearrange this so that it really looks like y equals mx plus c, we can do this. And there we have the y-intercept, and there we have the gradient. All done. Next one. X minus 2y equals 0. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to subtract x from both sides. Negative 2y equals negative x. We want to get rid of the negative 2, so we're going to divide each side by negative 2. And what we're going to wind up with, negative 2 divided by negative 2 is 1. We're going to wind up with 1y, and that is going to equal negative x divided by negative 2, which is a negative divided by a negative gives us a positive, x divided by 2, or y is equal to 1/2 x. Either of these forms is acceptable. There is no c value here, which means that the y-intercept is 0. This is a little different. Here's our problem. And this might not initially look like a linear equation, but let's go to work. What we're going to do is, this x is dividing both of these, so we shall just do that. We're going to rewrite this as separate pieces, separate fractions, if you will. Now, that equals 9. So, x squared divided by x is x. If there's any difficulty with that, have a look at my video on index rules. But essentially this is x to the power of 1, and when the bases are the same, we simply subtract when we divide. And so we get x. 2x over x is equal to 2, and that equals 9. Now, what we have here is something that doesn't look at all like an equation in the form of y equals mx plus c. We're literally just going to find out what x is equal to. And so here we go. X is equal to 7. That is because we took 2 away from here and 2 away from here. And you might not think that this is a linear equation, but it is. I'm just going to draw it here. So that's the x and y axis there. That's y and that's x. And x equals 7 is a vertical line that passes through the point, 7, 0. Nearly put it round the wrong way. It's a very common mistake. So this is, in fact, a linear equation. It just doesn't look like one. Moving right along. Back to something that looks a little more like the traditional linear equation. Again, we're trying to get y on its own, so we just peel away as if we were peeling an onion. And we'll start with the negative 3x. We're going to subtract, the positive 3x. We're going to subtract 3x from each side, and that is going to give us that. So we're on our way. 4y is equal to negative 3x. We're going to add 15 to that, and add 15 to that, plus 15. The 4 is multiplying here, so to get rid of it, we are going to divide each side by 4, and 4 divided by 4 is 1. We wind up with y, and negative 3x over 4 is negative 3x over 4, not 5, get it right. And 15 over 4 is 15 over 4. So our gradient, badly written, I apologize, is negative 3 on 4, and our y-intercept is 15 over 4. There, that looks a little more traditional than the last one, anyway. And here's one that's hopefully nice and straightforward. So 6y is equal to 9. We subtract x from there, we subtract x from there, minus x, and to get rid of the 6 we divide through by 6. We'll do the same thing here. Y is equal to 9 over 6 minus x over 6, and we can tidy this up. We can make it look a little more presentable. Y is equal to, we can simplify this fraction, that is 3 over 2. And we could write this, just so that you can clearly see the gradient, 1/6 x. Then again, we can write this like this. Gradient, y-intercept. Now, this is perfectly acceptable. In fact, it may be considered more stylish. But either of these will do. I think this is acceptable. You'll be able to work out the graph from this, but ideally you should simplify fractions. Okay, last one. I kept the best for last, especially for those people who don't like fractions. So, 5x over 2 plus 2y equals 12. Well, why am I rewriting this? I'm rewriting this to give myself time to think. Let's have a look. Okay, we're going to leave this here. What we want to get rid of is this. So we're going to subtract the whole thing. 5x over 2. And we're going to do the same thing over here. 5x over 2. So what we wind up with is 2y is equal to 12 minus 5x over 2. Now, anyone see the problem? We've got to get rid of this. which means dividing by 2. That means dividing this whole thing by 2. Now, I had a pupil years ago who, when he drew up what looks like a triple fraction here in front of his maths teacher told him it was illegal. Not wrong, illegal. I don't know if he could be fined or go to jail for it. I found some in a book that I could show him. So what are we doing? We're dividing 12 by 2, so that's going to be easy. That's 6. And over here we've got rid of the 2, so that's y. Our problem is here. And I'm just going to go down the page and do a little working with this fraction. So what we have is we have negative 5 over 2 divided by 2. Now that is the same as negative 5 over 2 times 1/2. And that makes this simple. This becomes 5, so negative 5 over 4. So what we get up here is negative 5x over 4. And this is our equation, which again you could write as y equals negative 5x on 4 plus 6 if you wanted to. That is m, that is x, that is c. Either of these would be fine. This looks a little bit daunting, but if you break things down, you'll see that it all comes right in the end. Thanks very much for watching. See you next time.